guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I am super excited to be covering Real Housewives of Miami. Season 1, Episode 1, Paradise Cost. You guys, I used to love Real Housewives of Miami. I know it wasn't a super popular one and I never understood why, because to me, the drama was so good. I really enjoyed it. I'm super excited to be here and be talking about it. If you want to watch along with me, it used to be on Hulu, and now I found if you have Hulu Live, you can watch it on there. Otherwise, I ended up just buying it off of Amazon, where you stream it, and I think it was $10 for the season. So let's get into this season. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. So let's get into this season's cast. I want to talk about each lady. I want to talk about their taglines. Very curious to know who you like and who you don't. I can tell you who I like and who I don't. And yeah, let's get into that. All right, first up we have Larsa. So I've never been a Kardashian fan. I just never watched the show before. I know she's controversial if you are a fan. So I just remember her from watching this show, and I did not care for her. And on the rewatch, I'm reminded that I do not care for her. But let's talk about her tagline. My husband's got moves, but I run the game. Okay, even her tagline is pretentious. A lot of the things she says are pretentious. It's kind of hard to watch her, I find. I just didn't care for her on this show at all. Cristy's tagline is, in my world, attitude is everything, and I'm keeping it real. Again, what what is this tagline? It sounds like a 15-year-old wrote it. I just didn't care for that one either. Then we have Adriana. I can speak 5 languages, but I can get a man with no words. You go, Adriana. Marysol's is, I put others in the spotlight, but somehow it keeps finding me. Alexia's is, beauty is power if you know how to use it. Yeah, I'm not feeling that one either. Come on, girls, get some good taglines. These are not it. Leah's is, I care about a lot of things. What others think about me isn't one of them. Okay. So we start the whole series off with a scene of Leah. We get to learn about Leah. She's with Natalie Cole, the singer. They are trying on purses and shopping and stuff. She says she collects people because the more outrageous, the more I tend to gravitate toward them. We see her with people like Rick Ross. She says, I'm more in tune with the person who has a lot of craziness in their life. We see her with Dennis Rodman. We learn about her family. She's got her husband, Roy, and her son, Roy Jr. She says she's from Texas originally. She came to Miami back in the 80s. She met her husband because she was a juror on one of his high-profile cases. She was sequestered, and then she ended up running into him a few months later. She explains that the house that she moved into, it was his house. It was originally 4,500 square feet. It has historical significance. Then she said she completely undid the house, added a bunch of square feet. She didn't say how much. But she's all about people. She says people make the party. Get the right people there. And if everything else fails, I just get them drunk. So again, what she's talking about here is she does these huge charity events every year. It's a charity gala. And so there's the house there, by the way. It's big, beautiful. But she does these huge charity events, so she's all about coordinating it and getting it ready. And every year she works hard on it, and she's all about having the right people there. And right off the bat, I want to say, what is this look? I don't know what this confessional look is. I don't love it. The hair is pretty bad. The style's not great. I don't really understand that look. Then we go over to Larsa. So we find out a little bit about her. Her mom is Lebanese and her dad is Syrian. She's been married to Scottie Pippen for 13 years. she says they live in Fort Lauderdale. She's from Chicago, and they wanted to live somewhere where they could have a boat in the backyard. They have 3 boys and a little girl. She says, I take care of Scottie Pippen and my kids. I cook every day. Being married to Scottie, you have to be in shape and looking cute. It's a lot of work. So this is kind of her MO. Her and Cristy, all they can talk about all the time is looking cute. I run this, I run that, I look cute. It's just kind of it just seems like a frivolous, everything they talk about seems kind of frivolous. I mean, good for them for the kids, but I don't know. I just think it's kind of ridiculous. They just always talk about looking cute and shopping to look cute and stuff. It's just silly. Then we go over to Adriana's. Adriana is engaged to a man named Frederick. He's French. And she has a son from a previous marriage. His name's Alex. He's, I think, 10 years old. She's an art dealer. She has an art gallery. She studied French art at the French Sorbonne. She went to law school, but she said ultimately she just wanted to get back into art. She's known Frederick since she was married, and she said he had a crush on her, but they started dating after her divorce. He proposed like 3 weeks later. She said she loves it in Miami. She feels great there. She says that in Miami they appreciate the way she looks. It's not just blonde hair, blue eyes. And she says she feels at home there. So then we go over to Cristy and we learn more about her. She was born and raised in Miami. She's a Cuban American. And she said, the Cuban Americans built this city. We bring so much flavor. She was married to Glenn Rice. He's in the NBA, and they were married for 11 years, and they have 3 kids together. They've since divorced, and I don't know, we just see her on the beach. Again, she's talking about looking cute. It just feels like when she talks, all I can think of is a high schooler. Like, look at me, look how cute I am, like... It's just a lot of attention-seeking behavior. Like I think she said she was turned 39, I believe she said. But, I mean, she looks fantastic. But the jokes, her friend jokes about being 49. She's like, oh my gosh. It makes a big deal about that. We see her with her psychics here. Interesting psychics. They think she'll find love soon. So we'll see about that. So then it's Miami Fashion Week. We see Larsa, Cristy, and Adriana. They are going to this runway show. It's just a whole thing. So Adriana keeps saying, oh, I don't like to be the first one here. It's very sparse. It's not like New York. And they're like, stop comparing it. You can already tell there's a little bit of tension because Cristy and Larsa are like very tight. And Adriana, she later on explains that they're kind of mean girls, that they'll be nice to your face, but then as soon as you're not within earshot, they'll talk crap about you. And we see them do that on this episode, actually. We find out here a little bit more about Adriana, that she's a little bit boy crazy. She kind of loses it when the male models walk down. She's super into them and how cute they are. So after the show, they end up going backstage to meet the designer, and all Adriana can talk about is meeting the male models. And he's just kind of like, I think they've already left after the show. So kind of funny priorities. So then they get in this conversation about the runway, and Adriana basically dares herself to go walk the runway. She's like, do you dare me? And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. So she goes and she does it. And I will say Cristy has a funny moment here. So Adriana's walking the runway, and she's like, oh, they dared me. Cristy says, yeah, this is something my 8-year-old daughter and her friends would do. It's cute when they do it. Not so much when Adriana does it. Adriana says, I'm Brazilian. I love life. I love to dance. Don't dare me to do something fun. It's second nature to me. And Larsa's saying, Cristy and I died. We would never have the balls to do that. We meet Alexia. She was born and raised in Miami. People call me Cuban Barbie. That's her first line to the camera. People call me Cuban Barbie. I'm the real thing. She has 2 kids, Peter and Frankie, and she's married a man named Herman. They own a magazine together. It's a Spanish magazine called Venue, and they've been together for 10 years. She says, like right off the bat, she says, I look a certain way, he looks a different way. It's like, whoa. Are you really going to say that about your husband on camera? Like, the first scene here. To me, he looks a little bit like Russell, who was married to Taylor Armstrong from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So then we go over to this private club, and it's Adriana, Larsa, and Cristy. They toast to a great night. They get the music to turn up, and they dance, and I don't know. It's interesting to see because Adriana, I mean, they all go dance, but then Larsa's like, I have a husband, I have kids, I'm ready to be done with this. And then the other two are like, we're single. I mean, Adriana's not single, she's engaged, but she's not married, is what she's saying. So they're dancing, and we see two men flank Adriana, and she seems to love the attention, and the girls kind of make fun of it. But she says, I'm allowed to dance. I would never cheat on Frederick. And then we get to meet Marysol. Marysol owns the Patton Group. It's a PR agency in Miami. They put on all kinds of big events. They even help Leah with her gala every year. They run the red carpet and do the press releases for that. Then we see her go over to her mom's house. Her mom's name is Elsa, and I love her mom. She's just different, I guess I'll say, but I do love her mom. She becomes a fixture on the show. I remember all the appearances on, like, Watch What Happens Live and later seasons and stuff. Unfortunately, she's since passed, but I love Mama Elsa. I just think she's a lot of fun. You see that Marysol is getting very serious with her boyfriend, Philippe, and we find out that he is a decade younger. So this comes up a couple of times, but Marysol seems to really love him. So then we go over to Alexia's house, and we kind of see her interacting with her boys. And she says things. So, like, she says things like, I have a rare, unusual relationship with my kids. I'm like their friend. That's never a good thing. They see me a lot younger than I am emotionally and physically. Oh, my God. She's kissing her own ass while talking about her kids. Peter wants to be a model and an actor, so I have to push him. She says that Peter and his girlfriend Priscilla are going on a cruise for spring break. So she's talking to him about maintaining his diet while he's on his cruise. All I could think about here was Yolanda when she was telling Gigi the same thing. Like, just because it's your birthday, maybe don't have a piece of cake, you know. So, I don't know. She talks about them being... She says Miami's more of an international city, so they raise them a little differently. Like, they're allowed to drink as long as it's a social occasion and they're all together, that sort of thing. So then we go back to Marysol, and remember, she's with Mama Elsa. And she's explaining that people call her mother for spiritual insight. She says she doesn't charge them. She's not a charlatan, but she just helps people. She says that her mother's very good at picking up energies. So she's explained to her mother about things getting serious with Philippe. What do you think? And Mom says she thinks he's really nice and charming and very well educated. She says, I had the feeling you would marry him the first time I met him. And then they bring up that he's a decade younger. Elsa says she wants to talk to him more and read his energy. And then she keeps teasing with Marysol saying, you're trying to trap him. And she's like, no, Mom, I want you to meet him. You're trying to trap him. I really like Mama Elsa. All right, then we go over to Leah's house. Now, their thing this season is each of the ladies hosts like a dinner or a lunch or something like that for the other ladies. They usually have a chef brought in. So Leah's up first. She's got this chef from the STK Steakhouse. The girls are coming over, they're going to eat, and he's going to show them some basics on cooking. Let me just tell you from experience, I tried STK. I'm very curious, have you guys tried it? I tried it in Orlando. I was not impressed. I'm not trying to be a food critic. I'm very easily impressed by food, but that time, my husband and I both, we got different dishes, and neither one were super into it. So that's my thinking. When I see STK, I'm just like, eh. But maybe it's a bad day at the restaurant. Maybe this guy's excellent. Who knows? So the ladies come over, and so Marysol's explained she's known Leah for years. She's got a very exuberant personality. She asks, so Larsa is asking everybody, hey, do you guys want to go horseback riding? And it's so funny because literally everybody says, no, we don't want to do that. So, let's see, Alexia arrives, and Larsa's talking about how Leah loves her crackberry. I totally forgot that was a thing. So many shots of Leah on her blackberry. She calls it the crackberry. Let's see, she bought everybody a chef's hat. We see them getting together and cooking, and Cristy says, Larsa and I have been friends for 15 years. So apparently they met as NBA girlfriends. They were each dating their NBA players when they met, and, you know, both of them married their men. Of course, Cristy has since divorced, and actually Larsa has since divorced. Are they divorced? I can't even remember, but I know they're at least separated, but I believe they're divorced now, so, or on the process of being divorced. We'll see. So they're having their cooking party, and they talk about Larsa and Scotty. They've been married for 12 years. They ask Adriana about her wedding. It's supposed to be in France, but apparently she's had cold feet a bunch, so it's changed a bunch. It's changed a couple of times. They call her a runaway bride. Actually, she calls herself that, and she says she changes her mind a lot. So then we hear the most interesting story. I remember hearing this back in the day when I watched this, and I was blown away, and let's talk about it now. All right, so Adriana tells a story. Hurricane Katrina hit Miami. She was there with her very young son, and her husband was in Brazil on a business trip. She said everything was shut down. She couldn't go anywhere. She was scared to death. She takes a shower. The phone rings. It's a Brazil number, so she thinks it might be something to do with him. So she answers, says, hey, this is Adriana. Sorry. She answers, and the lady says, is this Adriana? Do you know Umberto? Are you his daughter? And she goes, what? No, I'm his wife. And the lady on the other line says, that's impossible. I'm his wife. We have a 3-month-old baby. Oh, my God. So, yeah. So then to make it even crazier, okay, again, so Adriana was married to this man. They have a young son. He's in Brazil. Apparently in Brazil, he's got a wife who we find out is 17 years old. They have a very young daughter. And she says that the 17-year-old was an escort and that they were common law married. Holy cow. Larsa says, you didn't know? You didn't see his finances? Larsa to camera says, I manage all of our money. When a husband lets a wife manage the money, he won't go anywhere, which is kind of ironic since they've split. I just can't believe that story. Leah says, when I got to know Adriana, she and her son were sleeping on the floor of an art gallery. It just broke my heart. So I just took her in and collected her. Adriana says, I caught him before I had... Oh, she explains she actually had caught him cheating once before her son was born. I'm traumatized after this. I don't trust men. And then she says, can we talk about somebody else's tragedy now? It's just a crazy story. So interesting. I actually like Adriana a lot. Things happen in the next couple of seasons that get real interesting, but coming back in this with fresh eyes, I do like Adriana. I mean, she's a little boy crazy. She's a little wild, but I like her. Anyway, so that is it for the episode. We get to see a flash of the season. Lots of stuff going on. Like Adriana's having some arguments with Frederick. That gala is coming up, and this becomes a huge plot point for the season. Cristy shows up, and there's a dispute over whether or not she bought a ticket. Dun, dun, dun. Adriana versus Cristy about the ticket, because Adriana's on the committee, I believe, for the gala, so she makes a big deal about it. Marysol gets engaged. Leah says Leah, after Marysol announces her engagement, Leah decides to make this joke about him needing a green card, and I think it was Larsa, calls her out and says, yeah, she'll be nice to your face, but she's not a nice person. Elsa calls... at a dinner, Elsa calls Larsa totally immature, and Larsa loses her mind over it. And then we see Adriana yelling at an artist. So I can't wait. I love this show. I'm excited to be covering it again. I can't wait to go over all these events with you guys and talk about everything that happens. I love Miami. Loving the cast. Such good. I just don't know why it was so criminally underrated. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. That's it for the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy. I had so much fun covering it. I look forward to getting into the season with you guys. Check out my other shows. I'm pretty much recapping everything now, so check it out. Tell your friends about it. I'm really trying to grow my channel. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate everything. You guys leave the best comments. They're always so great, so informative. I love reading them. I try to respond to them all. Even if I don't, I do read them. I love them. Thank you for that. Find me on Twitter at Real Recaps. And if you want to support the show even further, check out my Patreon. It's $1 a week, $4 a month. Ends up getting you 4 bonus episodes. Right now I'm talking about Scary Island and all the crazy stuff that happens there. Check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.